Hey everyone, I'm Candace.
I'm Latoya.
And I'm Sherelle.
And we are Sisters Unscripted.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We are completely unscripted, where we talk about all the things, all the shit, whatever we want, from the eyes of Black sisters. So stay and kick it with us.
Let's get into it.
What's our topic today? Today, we are going to talk about fading friendships.
Okay.
And how sometimes, you have those experiences where you're so close with people and then something happens in your life and you realize that maybe the friendship just isn't clicking as it used to. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I'm curious about if we've seen that in our lives.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are just looking at me. I think I'm on the opposite end. So yes, I experience it, but I am kind of more of the person where connections are important to me, and I try to keep as many connections with my friends as I can have. But I have experience where friends, maybe I don't benefit them in a way anymore, and then they just like leave me, and then I'm really sad about it. So in a way, sure, I guess maybe they outgrew me, I guess, whatever. But
why do you think that is, though?
Because I'm not no punk ass bitch.
But what does that mean?
I ain't no punk ass bitch. I think like my last friendship that kind of really stung, it was with this one chick, and I just didn't like how she I felt like, so I let her in my condo, I let her rent a space out from me just so she could do her dreads and stuff like that. And she would like come in as she pleased. And like, I just didn't like it because at the end of the day, like it's still my place. And so, I mean, she could come whenever she wanted, just like give me a heads up. Right. And so we just had a conversation about it, and she didn't like that. And so like, I don't know. I'm probably just jabbering because I am a little tips. But anyway, yeah. And then she was just like, and then it just kind of escalated to like, well, I don't like how your bathroom isn't clean. And I'm like, bitch, do you pay my mortgage? Absolutely not. And she's like, my clients use your bathroom. I'm like, I don't remember us ever talking about my bathroom being a public bathroom. And even if we did, I would say fuck no, because that's where I brush my teeth. That's where I piss. That's where I shit. That's where I shower. No way I'm going to make that a fucking public bathroom. Are you crazy? And she's like, well, either way, your bathroom shouldn't look like that. I'm like, first of all, don't act like I live like a sloth, bitch. Okay.
You said bitch. Put a band in it.
Second of all, it goes back to point A. Do you even pay my mortgage? And she's all like, well, you just shouldn't live like that. I'm like, you should just get the hell out. And then she's like, well, you're just Sherelle Cameron. You're going to do whatever the fuck you want. I'm like, I didn't even say that. But like, to your point, I pay my mortgage. So yes, I'm going to. I'm like, it was a really weird exchange where someone thought that she had more power when she didn't, and she just need to be checked. Yeah. And so, and then, and then fast forward, and we just ain't friends anymore. And then I was pissed. And then I was like, you know what? Take your depressed, suicidal ass and get the step in.
Damn. Damn.
Like,
she went there. She said what she said. I mean, but that is a fading friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, even it's never the intention to have like, when you make those connections, you never want it to fade. You always want it to stay strong. You want to be there. And it's not to say like if a friendship does fade, there isn't like an open door where the connection gets strong again, or maybe it just is like at a point of life where you're just going on two different roads and two different paths, and maybe the paths meet again, and then you're stronger than ever. But it's just like, it's interesting that you've had that experience with this person who's trying to like, you're setting boundaries because it is your space, and how they responded to that, which I'd be like, I don't know if I want to keep that kind of relationship in my life if somebody doesn't respect my boundaries.
Especially in my house.
Right. Especially in my damn house.
My sanctuary.
Like if you were paying some rent, and like we had discussions about what that rent would entail.
That rent wasn't even a lot. I hope you're listening, bitch. It wasn't a lot.
Dang, she's bent the B again, the bitch. But
Scripted, y'all.
I watch a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. Sorry.
which we love. But like that is a relationship that definitely has like faded, probably for the best, it sounds like. So it's always hard to like when you experience friendships that just kind of maybe come to like a closure, you know?
Yeah.
If it does, or at least like for a moment. Have you experienced that, Cam?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. I know the first one that comes to mind is obviously I'm not going to use names, but do you remember my first roommate?
Show do.
Mm-hmm. So we were really, really good friends.
Is that the one that placed the boogers everywhere?
Okay.
Damn,
You
brought
bring
info.
people
Yeah, you
so
are.
true.
Hey.
But yeah, we were really good friends for a while, and like we ran in the same circle, like we worked together, about same age, you know, kind of, we didn't necessarily go to college together, but we were, you know, we went to college around the same time, that sort of thing. And there was a point where they were wanting to, or that they were needing to, needing to stay like in the Salt Lake area. I remember when we were living in the Rose Park area, and Mom let her stay with us. And first of all,
Rent free.
And it was a 2-bedroom apartment with, it was,
We were struggling.
yes. Thank you, Mom, for everything you've done.
For real.
That should be an episode of us talking about that experience, especially when you almost got kidnapped.
Yeah, true story.
That's scary. And I got stalked.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy times. But anyway, so she stayed with us, and you know, Mom obviously had rules, but she didn't follow them. And you know, she would, like, I would buy things and she would wear my clothes before I got to wear them first, and that sort of thing. You know, just very disrespectful to Mom, which is the main thing that really bothered me. But then I still ended up, you know, wanting to live with her. But also I was, you know, 18, 19 at that time.
You were younger than that. You're like 18.
So, because obviously I was out of high school, and I was ready to move out. You know, I was just ready to be out there on my own and blah, 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 blah. But we got this apartment together, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and yada, yada, yada. And it got to a point where I finally started placing, kind of like what you were doing, Cheryl, like boundaries. You're placing boundaries. And she didn't like them. And, you know, I would ask about, and I am this person, and, you know, I don't even feel guilty about it, because I mean, they don't really teach us about credit in school and all that, but I already knew that credit is like how you get anything. So I was like, I'm not about to let you ruin my credit by not paying your bills. So I was smart by making sure that I had my own lease on top of the lease the apartment had. And so that if she ever said that she wanted to, like, or she ever decided she wanted to leave, then I could take her to court, small claims court, and take care of that. Because I was like, you're not messing with my monies. 18 years old, y'all. But yeah, so anyway, so I started placing boundaries of like, you know, can you please make sure that you're, you know, with stupid things like, you know, make sure you're cleaning your bathroom, or, you know, the shared bathroom, or, you know, the kitchen after you cook, or just things like that. And she didn't really like that. And it got to a point where I wrote her this long letter, and like nowadays, if I were to put myself back in that situation now with the experience I have now, I'd definitely be able to talk to her face to face, but that's what I felt comfortable with.
Yeah, but you're 18 again. So.
Yeah. So I wrote her this long letter, and she didn't like it. And, you know, and honestly, I haven't heard from her in years, but mutual friends have said that if she saw me walking in the street, she would never say hi to me. I'm like, that's sad.
Over a damn letter.
You know, really though,
Girl,
because I basically was just like, you know, you disrespected my mom, you know, we did all these things for you, and yet, you know, you're continuing to, you know, not respect my boundaries of as a roommate, and yada yada yada. And I mean, it was so long ago. I know that there's a lot more details that I'm probably leaving out, but that friendship definitely faded. And, you know, we were in two different parts of life too. She was in a long-term relationship that she ended up marrying this guy, and where I was just getting out of a relationship. And, you know, I was very just career driven, and she's very much like, I wanted to be a mom, and which there wasn't anything wrong with that. But we were just in two different points of our lives too. So, but yeah.
And she still picked her nose? Girl.
Yeah. It was gross. She was a very dirty roommate.
Dirty roommate.
Dirty roommate.
Dirty roommate. Cheryl's rolling her eyes.
Cheryl's rolling her eyes because Candace and LaToya are singing again.
Hey, that'd be a good song though.
Dirty roommate.
Wash your damn drawers.
And put your boogers in the toilet paper, okay? Serious though, guys, and I had to clean up that apartment. I had to clean that apartment up to make sure that we got our deposit back. So, and I was just,
yeah, that friendship had to go.
Yeah.
I remember mine is pretty young too, and I'm sure I've had some like in my older days, but this was pretty empowering for my shy little self back when I was younger. I remember being super, super close with this group of girls, and like we went from like junior high to high school. We were like these tall, lanky, awkward girls that were like, I thought they were like my best friends. And there was like a lot of stuff that was happening in our lives personally at the time with our family, and I was going through so much hard stuff. Now, mind you, being older now, looking at it from an adult's perspective, it was a lot for them to manage, you know. But when you're young, you don't really know, and you depend on your friends, or you rely on your friends to hold space for you and stuff. And so I quickly learned that that was not the case. That I felt like, because I oddly enough did cheerleading in high school. Now, mind you, because all this stuff was going on in our household, I got kicked off because my grades dropped drastically. Like
Divorce.
You know, family of divorce, a lot of things. And of course, my grades dropped drastically. And unfortunately, my coaches didn't care because much like the movie Bring It On, they were like, it's cheer or die. And I was like, well, dying is not an option for me. I'm too young for that. So I guess I'm just going to have to go, you know, like there's so much. Maybe I'll have to talk about that, like cheer life in like a future episode or whatever, because that was some crazy shit. But anyway, but I was like, I felt like they were hanging out with me because I was the cheerleader, even though I was awkward. And, you know, a zebra can't change their stripes, I always say. So I was still an awkward person. But when I got kicked off the squad and all this stuff was happening, they were like missing in action. And I was just like, what's going on? And I remember specifically that I was like, hey, let's hang out this weekend. Let's go do something. Because I was in good spirits and stuff. And they're like, oh, sorry, we can't. We're all busy. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I ended up staying home to find out that them heifers got together and they hung out. They just don't want me to be around.
Ew.
I know. I was like so heartbroken and so devastated. I was just like, cool, I guess like we're not supposed to be friends. Whatever. Fast forward.
Sherelle.
Unscripted.
I'm trying to be vulnerable right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we hold space for you.
I'm sorry.
And you can't hold space for me.
I'm sorry.
This is what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm going to fade a sister. Get your ass away from me.
I'm sorry. I'm listening. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we use that mic too. Come on.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, girl.
Sorry, guys, I'm a little drunk.
You better mark that and put Sherelle's her booty juices on. Booty juice.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I genuinely...
Girl,
I genuinely apologize for taking away from the moment. Continue, please, Toya.
Mind you, we've been nursing this rosé for like a little bit. I don't know how you drunk.
Dude, I down that.
Oh,
I down that bitch.
Well. Anyway, back to what I was vulnerably sharing. This always happens. Middle sister here. This always happens. Anyway.
Older sister's listening, by the way.
So anyway, fast forward, I moved on and I found like where I was supposed to be, which was in the theater department, and it was awesome. And I started making friends, and like feeling accepted for my awkwardness and really found my groove. And all of a sudden this one friend decided she was like, oh, I want to like try some braids in your hair. And I was like, okay, fine. That's cool. So we did. And I was like, let her experiment on my hair. It actually looked pretty decent. I was like, oh, you did a good job. Like, cool, or whatever. And I was in a play and I was like, oh, I should probably get this touched up. So I was like, hey, are you cool with like doing it again? And out of nowhere, she was like, you use me. And I was like, how in the world?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It was like, how you are using me? Girl, you know who it is.
Okay.
I ain't say no names.
Yeah, you don't need to say names. I think I already know.
But like, she was like, you are using me. And I was just like, why are you even here? Like, this is like our longest day, like tech rehearsal. I don't even know why you're even here in the first place.
And they're the one who wanted
to experiment on my hair to see if they could do it. And I said, yes. So aren't you using me?
Wow.
But anyway,
that's some narcissistic.
And mind you, like, I didn't even view it like that. I was just like, oh yeah, sure. Like, we're friends, whatever. Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah, my hair looks amazing. Like, are you cool doing it again? Like, that was it. And being accused of using her, I was like, girl, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I was like, not in the space, not in the mood. And I remember we had our longest lunch break with like everybody. They provided food for us and stuff like that. In high school, theater is like intense too, but like it's the best community. And so she followed me back to like where we're going to go eat lunch. And it got dramatic for no reason. Cause I was just like, why are you here? And she's like, cause she was like, I want to talk to you. Da, 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 da. And I was like, all right, let's talk. And she was like, I just feel like you're just like ignoring me. And now you found your new friends, da, 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 and all these things. And I was just like, you didn't even want to hang out with me in the first place. So why are you even here? Like, remember how like y'all were ignoring me? Y'all didn't even want me around. I was going through some stuff and y'all weren't even there for me. So like, why are you even here now trying to say this stuff to me? And she was like, well, I just feel like our friendship, da, da, da. I was like, you know what? If you feel that way, then so be it. I felt like trying, be like, so be it. And I kid you not, I was like, you know what? Let's not be friends anymore. From this moment, we're not friends. I was like, if I see you in the hallway, I'm not even going to say hi. I'm just going to walk right past you like I didn't see you. Like, I was done. And I've never done that in my life. And I was...
That's a Taurus right there for you.
I was finished. I was just like, I've gone through so much stuff. And when I needed you the most, you were gone. You didn't want me around. And now that I found people that wanted me around and who were willing to and wanting to hold space for me and understand me, now you see that I'm happy and you want to be a part of that or take that away or want to know why I'm happy and be a part of it. And I'm like, you can't just come in when you want.
See, and that's the thing though, is that I think there's something there is that, people, once they see that there's something good going on in your life too, they want a piece of that. Mm-hmm. And, but like, they don't want to do any of the work to get there. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I'm like, it was just such an interesting moment for me, for one, to stand up for myself and to see like what this, you wanted to be around me when I was like all in that cheerleading uniform and all that stuff. But once when I was done with that, because I got kicked off, you're too intense. You have too much stuff going on in your life, blah, blah, blah. Not there. And I was just like, but now that you see that I found a community again, that I want to be around and I'm happy again, that you want to have a little piece of that. And I was not willing to give that up because I was like, you weren't there in the first place. So why am I going to put myself in this situation again? And I kid you not, I stood my ground with that.
I think that's awesome that you did that, especially at that age too, because, if we want to get down to the, science behind everything, like our brains aren't fully developed at that point too. We're just really trying to figure out who we are and adolescence and all that stuff. So that's huge.
It was huge. And mind you, like the older I got, we became friends again. And then we didn't become friends again because another situation came up. Sometimes it takes a couple of times for you to really, really go, oh yeah, we're just not destined to be friends.
Right. It's just as they call it, a season. It's a season in your life that,
Yeah. And sometimes you don't learn the first time. Like you're like, okay, well, maybe like we've grown past that. No, we haven't. And no, it's still the same thing. It's just a different scenario.
Right.
And then so we moved on. Now, mind you, like we're adults now and And since then, like, she's reached out and we've like one time had like a conversation, but like we're not homies, you know. But it's just interesting to reflect back on how I set like a clear boundary for myself, because I was just like, you don't want to be my friend when I'm at the lowest. So then are we really going to be friends?
Right.
So, yeah.
I think that's interesting. That kind of makes me think of, as well of, as like I've had relationships as well, like friendships where we've just had just a different set of, like, a different mindset. You know, for example, like, you know, as I continue to get older, I'm becoming more of a dreamer. And like, I mean, I like things to be structured and I like to have a plan, but like, I'm also like I'm betting on myself more. And I've had friendships where, you know, where you have people that are constantly like, well, but if you do this, this might happen, or da da da. And it's just like this negative thing of like, don't do that. You're going to get yourself in a situation. It's just like, I need people in my space that are going to more or less like, I mean, I don't want to say just think like me. I mean,
champion you.
Yes, I think that's exactly what it is. Champion me and like not discourage me from following my dreams. Obviously, I got to be realistic. Yes, and I think there's nothing wrong with you know, the people in your life that you love, friendships, or, you know, whatever that is, family relationships, for them giving you like keeping it real, but also there's an approach about it. You don't have to sit there and like make someone's dreams feel like they're, you know, that they're not valid, or that they're not realistic. And it's just like there's a lot of things that we can do in this world, and it's like it really just comes down to mindset.
Amen. I believe.
I think my last kind of thoughts about this is just kind of like how we talked about things, you know, as we are growing up, you know, people are learning things, and because we're learning, we might cut people off, but also at the same time, like, I know I've done things that people have cut me off for, like my dear best friend. I absolutely love him. Best friend of almost 20 years. I was dating a heroin addict at the time for many years, and he saw how that affected me, and that eventually affected our friendship. And so he had to place boundaries between me and him. And he's like, as long as you're dating him, like, I can't be around you. So like, that's also sometimes friendships fade because of that. And it was kind of more of like a pause, I guess you could say, because we eventually got back together, and he's still one of my best friends. And now that I'm out of the situation, I understand what he was doing. I absolutely hated him and I couldn't stand him for that. I felt very abandoned by him. But now that I'm older, I understand that he was just placing boundaries for his safety, his mental health and stuff like that, because I wasn't doing that for myself and I was affecting other people with it. So just kind of a different scenario. And if that's kind of what you have to do, then do it for you.
That's interesting you say that, because I remember like one of my best friends, we're still best friends, but there was one time that they kind of said something to me like, I don't like the way that you let people treat you. You know, and I was in a space where I'm like, well, I just would rather just be nice than, you know, deal with the drama or just, you know, whatever fight. I didn't want the confrontation. And I remember at one point they had kind of placed boundaries saying, you know, like, it's hard for me to even be around you when I know that you're not going to stand up for yourself. And it like kind of made me open my eyes and be like, okay, what am I doing here? Like, why am I allowing these people to treat me this way? I have a dear friend that's telling me, you know, hey, this is not okay. But yet I'm not taking their advice, you know, like I think it's just an interesting perspective that, you know, you, like for you, Sherelle, your friend clearly didn't like seeing you in the relationship you're in, because obviously it was a very unhealthy one, and it was putting you in a situation where, you know, you weren't being good to yourself, or you just in general your mental health probably wasn't great, that sort of thing, right?
I was the drama. I was the toxic one.
Is that what I said?
I'm just being dramatic.
Oh, so, but you know, I think that's kind of, you know, a good point there that you brought up.
Yeah, I mean, we're all growing and we're all evolving, right? Like, especially when we're kids, we have childlike mentality. And then when we get older, we understand that what happened in our childhood carries on to like how we think when we get older. And definitely whatever boundaries we place as a kid, sometimes that can evolve with us as a child, or not as a child, as an adult. And that can affect your relationships too that you had gained when you were a kid. So, but I think it's good to be open that you can also be the problem too.
For sure. Absolutely.
I mean, and I know like I've had some friends who definitely were like, you know, call me out when I'm not showing up. And that's something that's really important for me in my friendships. And when I'm going through my own like shit, it is hard to show up for other people. And also, it still doesn't mean that you should slide, at least in communication.
Right.
You know, of being like, yeah, I really want to hold space for you right now. I'm just going through some shit and I don't know if I have the capacity. And I think that's sometimes hard to do that. And I know it is for myself, you know, when I'm like, I want to be there for everybody. And when I can't be, I just fade.
I mean, and human.
Yeah. But like that, if I'm asking for that, I also need to be providing that for my friends too.
No, for sure.
And so one of my friend was like, it feels like right now, like, you know, you say you're going to do something and you're not doing it. And you say you're a person of your word and you're not keeping your word. And I was like, oh God, I want to die. But I mean, it's true, you know, and that can happen in your friendships. It's like how you respond and how you shift or listen to the person who's saying that to you, you know, is really important. Because you can become the problem if you're like, well, you know, like you don't do this for me.
Right.
You know, then it's like, you might as well just.
That's a lot of my problem. Like I go tit for tat. I don't mean to, but for me, I just feel like, why are you coming at me when like you do this? And to me, we're on the same playing field. And so like, what makes you think you're better than me to like call me out on shit when you got shit too? But I really need to not have that mentality. It's just more of like, but like, I don't fucking know how. Like, I ain't gonna tell me my shit don't stink when your shit does too. You know what I'm saying, bitch?
I mean, I hear that, but I think there's a time and a place too.
Yeah.
And also, you know, sometimes it does just go. It just goes like that. You know, where it's like, yo, you could say that all you want, and also that I can say the same for you. Like there are times when you haven't kept your word, and so why are you coming so hard at me when I let you slide? I didn't say nothing. I just respected and just moved on. But you seem to be harboring on this when you've been doing the same activity. And so like, what makes it different for when you actually do the same thing?
But then you can't project your expectations onto other people. Like they are willing to accept certain things or other things, and you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, hopefully that makes sense. And then that's when I get into a loophole, and then I'm like, should I be mad at them? Like, yes, but then like, should I actually? Because like I'm on this level and they're on this level. Does that make sense? And then I'm like, what is even real anymore?
And you know what that means? Sometimes we just have to bring grace into the conversation.
Yeah.
And
Who's Grace though? Who is she?
she's the person who goes, you know, let's take a pause and let's really look at the bigger picture.
Get out of the Matrix. Keanu Reeves is so hot.
Unplug and perk up them listening skills and see if you can resolve the situation. If you can't, step away and see if you can come back to it. And even when you come back to it, if it can't resolve itself, then maybe the relationship just needs to pause for a duration of time. If not, until whatever.
Right.
So we're all humans. We're all learning. We're all trying to figure it out in all of our relationships. And so I think it's become sometimes clear when relationships just need to be completed and the path has met its end.
The path has met its end.
The path has met its end.
The path has met its
So
end.
I think as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's been some friendships that I was like, no, we're going to be best friends forever, you know?
I need the facts.
And I know who my ride or diers are. Like, you know, I know who they are now. And
that's us.
yes, you guys are part of that.
A part of that. Who are all these other bitches?
Uh-oh.
That's another episode, y'all.
I get jealous.
She does. But no, I think when I remember, when some of these friendships would just kind of, fizzle out, it really affected me a lot. And it made me really, really, I don't know. It just made me really sad and almost made me reflect on like, well, what did I do? Or, what could I have done better? And I'm sure there's always something we can do better. But I think, as I continue to get older, I'm realizing that, there's some friendships and relationships that hold a time and place. And that's really what it is, And, we've had some great memories, had some, not so great memories. And, now you're moving on and, we're where we are now. And it's okay to have had those experiences.
Yeah. It's all okay. Baby.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, but let's go into our joy of the week. Sherelle, what was your joy?
Joy.
I was able to take a poop.
Oh my goodness.
I love pooping.
Okay. Next, Toy.
Constipation.
I'm not constipated. Don't you even put that on me. Keep going.
I'm sorry. My little joy is I wrapped another movie.
Yay! Congratulations!
Thank you. I'm really excited to see,
Future movie star.
calling it in, working hard, learning a lot, and felt very grateful and a lot of joy being a part of that process. So keep going, keep growing, and keep going towards my dreams.
It's amazing.
Amazing. Maze balls.
Oh, man.
Stop, Candace.
Remember that video?
Oh. What's your joy, sis?
Life's been lifing lately. So I'm having a hard time really placing it. I'm just going to keep it simple. I had my kids this week and, we had a lot of just snuggles and, they just forgive so quickly. And it just reminds me just how not deep stuff is, so just having them around and them loving on me and loving me, even though I'm very much not a perfect mother. It just kind of brings things into perspective for me.
But you're perfect in their eyes.
No, definitely not. I'm trying to teach them that because Olivia right now, she's having a hard time because she thinks she has to be perfect. And I'm trying to teach her that nobody's perfect. And it's
well,
okay
that
to make
is your
mistakes.
daughter.
Amen.
Nope, she's not. And neither am I. And neither are you.
No, girl, I said
she's your daughter.
Huh?
She said she's your daughter.
Oh, I thought you.
you're like, no, she's not. I was like,
Oh, I thought you said.
and Jerry Springer. Jerry.
No, I thought you said that she's not perfect. That's what I thought you said.
Oh my gosh, why would I say that about my niece?
Because it's you. So, but anyways, that's the episode, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or you have topics for us, you can email us at sistersunscripted@gmail.com. Find us on all the social medias at Sisters Unscripted. Say hi to us. Come give us a follow. We love getting to know you guys. And we will check you out next episode. Sisters out.